I know I'm live. I'm trying to do something. Okay. So let's continue with what's this? What did God say only? Yeah, in Numbers part 3. So my plan is to read 5 chapters today, and we'll see. Um, so I left off on chapter 11, so I'm gonna start from there. So it says, now when the people complained in the hearing, okay, God isn't talking yet. Now when the people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortunes, the Lord heard it, and his and his anger was kindled. Then the fire of the Lord burned against them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. Okay. But the people cried out to Moses, and Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire abated. So that place was called Taberah, which means what? Fire or something? Oh, burning. Okay. I figured it was something like that. Because the fire of the Lord burned against them. The rabble among them had a strong craving, and the Israelites also wept again and said, if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its color was like the color of gum risen. The people went around and gathered it, ground ground it in meals or beat it in mortars, then boiled it in pots and made cakes of it. Um, and the taste of it was like the taste of cakes baked with oil. When the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna would fall with it. Moses heard the people weeping throughout their families, all, all at the entrances of their tents. Then the Lord became very angry, and Moses was displeased. So Moses said to the Lord, why have you treated your servant so badly? Why have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all this people on me? Did I conceive all this people? Did I give birth to them, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as a nurse carries a sucking child, to the land that you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where am I to get meat to give to all this people? For they come weeping to me and say, give us meat to eat. I am not able to carry all this people alone, for they are too heavy for me. If this is the way you are going to treat me, put me to death at once. If I have found favor in your sight, and do not let me see my misery, put me to death at once. All right. So God is gonna talk. Where my highlighter at? Let me highlight this. Put me to death at once. Moses was like, forget this. You have to kill me. These people crazy. Okay, that's Numbers 11:16. I'm gonna highlight this in my book. Let me get there. Numbers 11:16. So the Lord said to Moses, gather for me. I'm gonna put the phone on the floor. I don't want to hear that vibrating. Anyway, gather for me 70 of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them. Bring them to the tent of meeting and have them take their place with you there. With you. I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is on you and put it on them. Oh, that's interesting. Nobody talking. Oh, well, I don't hear a lot of people talking about that though. That is interesting. I think this might be where the other people is finna prophesy outside the camp. I think they call them Eldad and me, Eldad and Medad. I might have to go get something to drink in a minute. 17 is an interesting verse. I think I'll note that. My phone's still vibrating. I'm gonna throw it outside in a minute. Getting on my nerves. Verse 17. Okay. Did I read all of 17? Nope. And they shall bear the burden of the people along with you, so that you will not bear it all by yourself. 18. And say to the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. For you have wailed in the hearing of the Lord, saying, if only we had meat to eat. Surely it was better for us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. You shall eat not only 1 day, or 2 days, or 5 days, or 10 days, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes loathsome to you, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you. That's the second. Well, it was another place where the Lord was rejected too, in Samuel. I don't know how many times did that happen. Curious. My own little side note question. I'll probably never know that answer. So we got verse 19, 20. Yeah, 20. Verse 20. Okay. Because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and you have wailed before him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? Because but Moses said, okay, so now God isn't talking anymore. But Moses said, the people, I am with number 600,000 on foot, and you say, I will give them meat, that they may eat for a whole month. Are there enough flocks and herds to slaughter for them? Are there enough fish in the sea to catch for them? The Lord said to Moses, okay, now God is talking again. So let me highlight. All this right here. Highlight all this right here. Highlight all this right here. Right here. Right here. So when does Moses start talking? Oh, he starts talking in 21. Okay, cool. I'm gonna throw this phone outside to get on my nerves. Moses talks and then God starts back in 23. Okay. Boom. we also get to see how Moses don't know the power of God fully yet, because it is. I don't want to throw that phone outside so bad. So 23. I'm gonna go to 23. All right. The Lord said to Moses, "Is the Lord's power limited? Now you shall see whether my word will come true for you or not." So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 elders of the people and placed them all around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. And when the spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did not. But they did not do so again. Okay, now let me. I gotta make a little cross reference of that. So Moses went outside. Okay, so God isn't talking yet, so I don't need to highlight anything else. But I want to make a note. So the cross reference is, then the Lord came down and so 25, just 25. So we're going to cross reference there. Get verse 25 in the building. All right. 26. Two men remained. Yep, Eldad and Medad. Two men remained in the camp. One named Eldad and the other named Medad. But the Spirit rested on them, and the Spirit rested on them. They were among those registered, but they had not gone out to the tent. And so they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and told Moses, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." And Joshua, son of Nun, the assistant of Moses, one of his chosen men, said, "My lord Moses, stop them." But Moses said to him, "Are you jealous for my sake? Would that would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit on them." And Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. So, verse 29? Yeah, 29. I need that too. The quails. Here we go. Did I read 20? No, I don't think I read 30. Mm-hmm. And Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. Nah, I ain't read that one. Man, this thing feel good right here. Woo! For real. My bad. Then a wind went out from the Lord, and it brought quails from the sea, and let them fall beside the camp about a day's journey on this side, and a day's journey on the other side, all around the camp, about 2 cubits deep on the ground. So the people worked all that day and night, and all the next day, gathering the quails. The least anyone gathered was 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth, before it was consumed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people. And the Lord struck the people with a very great plague. Now, this word plague, what is that? Where's my mouse? It's over there. This word, I need to make my mouse bigger for real. This little mouse, for real. Macaw, okay. Blow, wound, slaughter. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm cold. I am super cold. What else? Beating, scourging, strip, chastening, often wound, defeat, plague, especially disease as punishment. Okay. Macaw. So the Lord struck them with the plague. Now, this is possibly the second time it mentions that God struck them with the plague since Egypt, since when they was coming out. No, yeah, I think. So I'm gonna have to note down too. I'm gonna write this in another color though. It's actually a good orange color. I'm surprised it's that seeable. Interesting. So this is Numbers 11:33. Okay. All right. So that place was called Kibroth Hadavah. And what does that mean? That is graves of craving. Because there they buried the people who had the craving. Interesting. So they died. Some of them, I guess. From Kibroth Hadavah, the people journeyed to Haziroth. So that's all it says. It doesn't give us anything else. So I don't really get an explanation about why they were killed. All I can see is that they started eating and died, according to this. Maybe. Maybe I need to read it from another translation. That one didn't tell me anything either. Same thing. Give me anything. Okay, well. Well, let me get my nose right. Hold on, I'll do that. Dang. I think it's another place that gives me more information about that. I need to, yeah, do more heat, and then that. Uh-oh. Could. I never done it before, but I could. Let me see. This is gonna be crazy. Is it possible? Let me see. Only one way to find out. This is funny. Dang. This is gonna be wow. Hold on. Still not ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, let's got it go. That is funny. Is that Yogi Bear? I think that's what it is. Oh man, I ain't seen that in a long time. Hey, boo boo. That's funny. It just came to my mind. Anyway, all right. What verse was on? I'm on 12, chapter 12. I gotta hurry up. Let's go. Okay, so it says while they were at Haziroth, Miriam and Aaron spoke against she finna get leprosy. Spoiler alert. Spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married, for he had indeed married a Cushite woman. And they said, has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? As the Lord heard it. Now, the man Moses was very humble, more so than anyone else on the face of the earth. Suddenly the Lord said, okay, verse 4. God is talking. Aaron and Miriam, come out, you three. Well, to Moses, Aaron and Miriam, come out, you three. All right. To the 10th meeting, so the three of them came out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. And he said, so let me highlight, come to the 10th meeting. Okay, got it. And he said, oh, wait. And called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. And he said, hear my words. When there are prophets among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. Not so with my servant Moses. He is entrusted with all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly, not in riddles. And he beholds the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. Okay, so it stops at 8. Let me highlight that. Okay, 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. 10. When the cloud went away from over the tent, Miriam had become leprous, as white as snow. And Aaron turned towards Miriam and saw that she was leprous. Then Aaron said to Moses, O my Lord, do not punish us for a sin that we have so foolishly committed. Do not let her be like one stillborn, whose flesh is half consumed when it comes out of its mother's womb. And Moses cried to the Lord, O God, please heal her. But the Lord said, okay, 14. Okay, so let me highlight all that real quick. Okay, so 14. But the Lord said to Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, would she not bear her shame for 7 days? Let her be shut out of the camp for 7 days, and after that she may be brought in again. So Miriam was shut out of the camp for 7 days, and the people did not set out on the march until Miriam had been brought in again. After that, the people set out from Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. The Lord said to Moses, okay, God is talking again. Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each of their ancestral tribes you shall send a man, everyone a leader among them. So Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the command of the Lord, all of them leading men. Among the Israelites, these were their names. From the tribe of Reuben, Shemau, son of Zakur. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Jephuni. From the tribe of Issachar, Igal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun. Oh, that's Joshua. Well, he wasn't Joshua yet. From the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai, son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Sodai. From the tribe of Joseph, that is, from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai, son of Susai. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel, son of Gemalai. From the tribe of Asher, Sether, son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabai, son of Vopsai. From the tribe of Gad, Geuel, son of Machai. These were the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses changed the name of Hoshea, son of Nun, to Joshua. Interesting. This is okay. 17. Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan and said to them, go up there into the Negev and go up into the hill country and see what the land is like, and whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and whether the land they live in is good or bad, and whether the towns that they live in are unwalled or fortified, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are trees in it or not. Be bold and bring some of the fruit of the land. Now it was the season of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob near Lebo Hamath. They went up into the Negev and came to Hebron, and a high man, Shishaiah, and Talmaiah, and the Anakites were there. Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt, and they came to the Wadi Eshcol and cut down from there a branch with a single cluster of grapes, and they carried it on a pole between two of them. They also brought some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Wadi Eshcol because of the cluster that the Israelites cut down from there. At the end of 40 days, they returned from spying out the land, and they came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the Israelites in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, we came to the land to which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Yet the people who live in the land are strong, and the towns are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the land of the Negev. The Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live by the sea. and along the Jordan. But Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are," I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it said. "For we are well able to overcome it." Then the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we." So they brought the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim." That's the second time that comes up um, so far. Let me see. The I'm sorry, not the Amalekites. The Anakites came from the Nephilim. Okay. And to ourselves, we seemed like grasshoppers. So we seemed to them. Okay. I am curious to see. Dang, that is Nephilim. Nephilim. No, that's Yam. Nephal Yam. Oh, okay. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry. Wait, let me make a note real quick. All right. The popular verse 33. Okay. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. All the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Or our wives and our little ones will become booty. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" So they said to one another, "Let us choose a captain and go back to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the Israelites. And Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes and said to all the congregation of the Israelites, "The land that we went through as spies is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not fear the people of the land, for they are no more than bread for us. Their protection is removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them." But the whole congregation threatened to stone them. Then the glory of the Lord appeared at the entrance of, at the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. And the Lord said to Moses, okay, so I need to get 9. Probably need to get 8. Come down. Actually, 5. And then yeah, I gotta get 10 too. Okay. And then God starts to talk at 11. The Lord said to Moses, how long will this people despise me? And how long will they refuse to believe in me? In spite of all the signs that I have done among them. Oh, let me highlight that too. I will strike them with another plague. Oh man. I will strike them with pestilence and disinherit them. And I will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they. Wow, that's the second time I've heard that. Similar. But Moses said to the Lord, okay, hold on. So, where is my pen? There it is. So I need to make a note. 14:5 through. Okay. So what verse am I at now? Moses is talking now. I gotta note that too. So God said he's gonna send pestilence on them. What word is this? Is this also Makah? No, that's the bar. God, sounds like God was done with them. Okay, so this is 11 through 12. D. So, verse 11 through 12. I gotta make a note on that. It's gonna be a long note. I need some space. Back up big time. Thank you. He said, and I will make of you a nation. Greater and mightier. Mm. Okay. I want that phrase in Hebrew. That's what I want. Okay, so that is that. But Moses said to the Lord, then the Egyptians will hear of it, for in your might you brought up this people from among them, and they will tell the inhabitants of the land, of this land, they have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people. For you, O Lord, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go in front of them in a pillar of cloud by day and in a pillar of fire by night. Now, if you kill this people all at one, mhm, all at one time, then the nations, oh, he gave them the idea right there. All at one time, then the nations who have heard about you will say, it is because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land he swore to give them, that he has slaughtered them in the wilderness. And now, therefore, let the power of the Lord be great in the way that you promised when you spoke, saying, the Lord is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, forgiving iniquity and transgression, but by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the parents upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Forgive their iniquity forgive the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of your steadfast love, just as you have pardoned this people from Egypt even until now. Then the Lord said, okay, guys, okay. 20, 14, 20. Then the Lord said, I do forgive, just as you have asked. Nevertheless, as I live, and as all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, none of the people who have seen my glory and the signs that I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and yet have tested me these 10 times and have not obeyed my voice, shall see the land that I swore to give to their ancestors. None of those who despise me shall see it, but my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me wholeheartedly, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it. Now, since the Amalekites and the Canaanites live in the valleys, turn tomorrow and set out for the wilderness by the way to the Red Sea. And the Lord spoke to Moses. Okay, so God is still talking. In 26, 2. I know y'all didn't get to see all that, but hey. Let me see. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, how long shall this wicked congregation complain against me? I have heard the complaints of the Israelites, which they complain against me. Say to them, as I live, says the Lord, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. Your dead bodies shall fall in this very wilderness. And of all your number included in the census from 20 years old and upward, who have complained against me, not one of you shall come into the land in which I swore to settle you, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. But your little ones, who you said would become booty, I will bring in, and they shall know the land that you have despised. But as for you, your dead bodies shall fall in the wilderness, and your children shall be shepherds in the wilderness for 40 years, and shall suffer for your faithlessness. Oh man, until the last of your dead bodies lies in the wilderness. Man, that's crazy. According to the number of days in which you spied out the land, 40 days for every day a year, you shall bear your iniquity. 40 years, and you shall know my displeasure. Wow, that's crazy. Man, I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely I will do thus to all this wicked congregation gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall come to a full end, and there they shall die. Man, that's sad. That's sad. And the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, who returned and made all the congregation complain against him, by bringing a bad report about the land. The men who brought an unfavorable report about the land died by a plague before the Lord. But Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, alone remained alive of those men who went to spy out the land. Dang. When Moses told these words to all the Israelites, the people mourned greatly. They rose early in the morning and went up to the heights of the hill country, saying, Here we are. We will go up to the place that the Lord has promised, for we have sinned. But Moses said, Why do you continue to transgress the command of the Lord? That will not succeed. Do not go up, for the Lord is. Sorry, I had to put my charger in my laptop. Do not go up, for the Lord is not with you. Do not let yourselves be struck down before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites will confront you there, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned back from following the Lord. The Lord will not be with you. But they presumed to go up to the heights of the hill country, even though the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses had not left the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in that hill country came down and defeated them, pursuing them as far as Hormah. That's a darn shame. That's a darn shame. They hard-headed, man. Hard-headed. Okay. I gotta get some notes in here. Because there was some stuff that God said that was a trip. From 26. Man. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight this and read it again. Okay, we're 55 minutes in. It says, and the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, How long shall this wicked congregation complain against me? I have heard the complaints of the Israelites which they complain against me. Say to them, As I live, says the Lord, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. Your dead bodies shall fall in this very wilderness, and of all your number included in the census from 20 years old and upward, who have complained against me. Not one of you shall come into the land in which I swore to settle you, except Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. But of your little ones, who you said will become booty, I will bring in, and they shall know the land that you have despised. But as for you, your dead body shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall be shepherds in the wilderness for 40 years, and shall suffer for your faithlessness until the last of your dead bodies lies in the wilderness, according to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, for every day a year. You shall bear your iniquity for 40 years, and you shall know my displeasure. I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely I will do thus to all this wicked congregation gathered together against me in this wilderness. They shall come to a full end, and there they shall die. And I think that's all God said. Then it says, and the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land who returned. Oh, nope, God's still talking. And the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, who returned and made all the congregation complain against him by bringing a bad report about the land. The men who brought an unfavorable report about the land died by a plague. Oh, wait, so that's not God talking. Okay, so it cuts off on 35. Got it. Died by a plague before the Lord, but Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh alone remained alive of those men who went to spy out the land. Okay. Okay. I had to get that. Some surprising information. Dang, I've been waiting to get to that. Now I know what happened. That's sad. Dang, man. That is sad. Oh, man. I want to make some more notes, but Man, that's a lot. I'm gonna just keep reading, man. That's a lot. I couldn't keep going. Chapter 15. And then they still tried to go. The Lord spoke, God is talking. Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you come into the land you are to inhabit, which I am giving you, and you make an offering by fire to the Lord from the herd or from the flock, whether a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a freewill offering, or at your appointed festivals to make a pleasing odor for the Lord. Then whoever presents such an offering to the Lord shall present also a grain offering, 1/10 of an ephah of choice flour, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil. Moreover, you shall offer 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering with the burnt offering or the sacrifice for each lamb. Oh, wait a minute. I think that was right. Yeah, for each lamb. For a ram, you shall offer a grain offering, 2/10 of an ephah of choice flour mixed with 1/3 of a hin of oil. And as a drink offering, you shall offer 1/3 of a hin of wine, a pleasing odor to the Lord. When you offer a bull as a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow or as an offering of well-being to the Lord, then you shall present with the bull a grain offering, 3/10 of an ephah of choice flour mixed with half a hin of oil, and you shall present as a drink offering half a hin of wine as an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. Thus it shall be done for each ox or ram, or for each of the male lambs or the kids, according to the number that you offer. So you shall do with each and every one. Every native Israelite shall do these things in this way, in presenting an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. An alien who lives with you or who takes up permanent residence among you and wishes to offer an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord, shall do as you do. As for the assembly, there shall be for both you and for the resident alien a single statute, a perpetual statute throughout your generations. You and the alien shall be alike before the Lord. You and the alien who resides with you shall have the same law and the same ordinance. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the Israelites and say to them, After you come into the land to which I am bringing you, whenever you eat of the bread of the land, you shall present a donation to the Lord. From your first batch of dough, you shall present a loaf as a donation. You shall present it just as you present a donation from the threshing floor. Throughout your generations, you shall give to the Lord a donation from the first of your batch of dough. But if you unintentionally fail to observe all these commandments that the Lord has spoken to Moses, everything that the Lord has commanded you by Moses, from the day the Lord gave commandment and thereafter throughout your generations, then if it was done unintentionally without the knowledge of the congregation, the whole congregation shall offer one young bull for a burnt offering, a pleasing odor to the Lord, together with his grain offering and his drink offering, according to the ordinance, and one male goat for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of the Israelites, and they shall be forgiven. It was unintentional, and they have brought their offering, an offering by fire to the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord for their error. All the congregation of the Israelites shall be forgiven, as well as the aliens residing among them, because the whole people was involved in the error. An individual who sins unintentionally shall present a female goat, a year old, for a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement before the Lord for the one who commits an error when it is unintentional, to make atonement for the person, who then shall be forgiven, for both the native among the Israelites and the alien residing among them. You shall have the same law for everyone who acts in error. But whoever acts highly, but whoever acts high-handedly, whether a native or an alien, affronts the Lord. What? Because of having despised the word of the Lord and broken his commandment, such a person shall be utterly cut off and bear the guilt. When the Israelites were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses. Okay, so God stops talking right there. 31 sounds like. Okay, got it. 31. Oh, and the Israelites were okay on the seventh day. They brought him to Moses, Aaron, and the whole congregation. They put him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, okay, 35. So 35 says, then the Lord said to Moses, the man shall be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him outside the camp. The whole congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then the Lord said, well, the Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and tell them to make fringes on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue cord on the fringe at each corner. You have the fringe so that when you see it, you will remember all the commandments of the Lord and to do them, and not follow the lust of your own heart and your own eyes. So you shall remember and do all my commandments, and you shall be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Okay, that is the end of Numbers 15. That was a lot. It's a lot I could note, but I kind of want to skip some because it's a lot. So I will put in this part though about the fringes coming in. The fringes come in. I can turn the page. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I could do more, but maybe I should read 16 too. That way I only have to read 5 when I get to my last video. Read it, don't read it, read it, don't read it. Nah, I ain't gonna read it. I finally warmed up though. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Peace be to the saints.